Today we were interviewed by, what's it called?
The Wall Street Journal.
The Wall Street Journal. And
she
asked about...
What's that newspaper called again? What's that thing?
And she asked about women and men, and she's like, is this kind of the question was like, do you dog men? Basically, right?
Yeah, like basically, are we assuming that men aren't really involved in parenting?
And I was like, hold on. At no point do we want to dog men, but when we do a motherhood post, or like, what about the man? I'm like, here's the thing, men. Here's the thing. It's not about you. And us as women, you could divide the labor equally, but the mental load is fucking different. And I don't care what people say, but the mental load, unless they're a solo dad, then maybe the mental load would be the same. But for some reason, women are given this fucking gift of anxiety, stress, worry, multitasking, figuring shit out on the daily about who goes where, what needs to be done. And I don't know why we get that. I don't know why that lands on us. And I don't know who doesn't have that. We're not dogging men because of it. All we're saying is stop and listen to what a woman has to do. And the expectation, no man, there's no posts about post-dad bodies. Or there's no posts about men looking for different things to better themselves. There's no posts about men feeding their babies a certain way. There's no posts about men leaving for work trips and the guilt that consumes them.
And taking time, you know, men, that you really need to take time for yourselves and be mindful. Because they're already taking that time.
Yeah. And or just like all the shit that is bombarded at women. So it's not about men. And I think that that's the biggest... What are you getting?
Sorry.
Oh, and I think that's the biggest fallacy. And it drives me crazy that men even think that they can step in and have this conversation with us when I'm like, this, again, is not about you. Stop making... This is not your issue. This is us women talking amongst ourselves. Go start your own platform and talk about dad shit. But guess what? There'll be no one on there because you don't have the same shit to talk about because moms have this mental load. The stress and the pressure on our husbands of us staying at home was a lot. And we felt like an extra mouth to feed. And we felt like we had an extra, we were a burden.
Well, and also just every time we spend money, we were spending too much.
Yeah.
It always felt that way.
It always felt, even if it was groceries or even if it was...
Mostly groceries.
We didn't buy anything else.
All we did was grocery shop.
And it just, or if I had to buy her like a new snowsuit because she outgrew it, it was like, what, we just bought one. You have one. I'm like, yeah, but you need different things for like, you can't have a car coat. You gotta have a coat that keeps you warm in the car, but it can't be a coat. It's gotta be a sweater. It can't, you know, like.
And I would be like, I would love for you to take on all these jobs and maybe you would do it in a better budget, but you're never gonna do it and you're never gonna know how.
So when we started it, we had to start our own business while being a full-time stay-at-home mom, while carrying the mental load and carrying the load so the load didn't go on them of more stress.
Yeah.
Because the stress could only, I've said this before, but we were the emotional trampolines for the family, and we have to take it all because that's how we started.
But also it's that they were the only ones making money. So we wanted to make sure that they had enough time and less stress so that they would continue to go and make money because it wasn't coming from anywhere else. I really don't like when he walks in the door stressed. I don't like when my kids are stressed. I don't like when anyone's stressed in my household, but it doesn't leave room. I don't have the privilege of being in a bad mood or having any stress. I don't have the privilege of being moody. Some women do get to be moody, by the way.
I would love to, like, really?
I want to be that woman. Yeah.
Well, who?
Yeah.
Moody. You know people who are moody.
Oh, girls who have their issues and their husbands take care of them like they're the princess.
Oh, so it's just we fucked up in the beginning.
We're too strong.
Oh, God, it's annoying.
We gotta get weak. Because, you know, the couple times that I remember being weak, they didn't
You were never weak, by the way.
They didn't know how to.
You mean physically you weren't as strong. Like, mentally and physically you weren't as strong. You've never been weak, by the way.
Not as strong. He didn't know how to help you. Right?
I think that any person listening to this who is running a company and who has children or who just has children or just is, I think the fucking mental load is so insane and no one talks about that and no one talks about what we carry daily in our shoulders and our backpacks and we keep powering on and then people wonder why women are stressed and anxious and, you know, like I
honestly think that a lot of the women that are carrying these backpacks full of bricks don't even know why they feel that way.
No, meaning
You know?
why we're failing every day. Well, because you have a fucking backpack on, you're trying to swim of bricks. Literally, we're trying to swim
With bricks.
hundreds of pounds of
And
bricks.
a bunch of kids in our arms.
Yeah, and then a husband who's basically riding on top of you, you know, with no flotation device. Like, wait, I got you too, and I got you bag of bricks.
You know,
I got all of you, let's go.